hang out with me for the day while I talk about what's going to change in B2B marketing for 2025. I usually get random thoughts throughout the day and I never manage to document them when they're fresh in my mind. So I'm just going to do little clips throughout my day. You can hang out with me, see behind the scenes alongside my usual more polished videos. This is just like a little peek behind the curtain. The biggest thing to say about what I think will change in B2B this year is that probably nothing. There will be so many opportunities for us to do things, but I'm not sure that we actually will. And the biggest reason for that is because we don't really have strategies set up. So we are not going to be able to maximize new things, because anytime that we attempt to, they're just going to fall flat like everything else that we do. And that's not to diss you. That's just to say that, like, without a strategy, oh my gosh, you're really going to see how like not polished my life is, because I don't have time for like anything other than getting my work done, doing the shopping, getting my kids. We're not going to see results from new things unless we really make a strategy. And so we can talk all day about AI, we can talk all day about all the new tools and tech, but the biggest message of this video is going to be about how we have to get back to basics. So I can tell you about all the things I'm excited for in 2025. I'm going to be doing loads of cool stuff. Are we doing makeup today? I'm going to be doing cool stuff. I'm going to be launching some new digital products because my course is like my kind of signature thing. You know, people join my course, but sometimes people are like, oh, I really don't have that investment right now, or do you like my makeup brush? Or, you know, my business won't cover the cost. I have to pay for everything myself. And I just really want to provide something that's going to help those people. And so I think the way that my business runs is a good lesson for B2B marketing, because I don't do sales calls. There's no like person-to-person interaction with me when a sale happens. People just watch my content and then they buy. And this is a really interesting thing that you can start to do. I'm sure I bought a new mascara that you can start to do in 2025. Is like, if you get really good with your content creation, getting your subject matter experts on camera and like really extracting that valuable knowledge, that's going to be a really good way for you to start to make that shift towards people building trust with you without necessarily having to have sales calls constantly. Because the thing with how I approach selling is that people kind of feel like they've had time with me because my content speaks to what they're going through and solves the problems. They don't then need to book in a call with me because they're like, I get what you do, I get how it's going to help me. The landing page for what you sell is really clear. And so I feel like if you took my approach with your marketing of providing everything that your buyers would need before they then have to pick up the phone to you, then you're going to find yourself in a really good position that obviously people in your B2B company probably won't buy something like my thing online because it's probably more bespoke, it's probably high value, but you can get them the majority of the way so that they're like, I need to speak to someone. I love what you're doing. Please, can you like get someone to call me back? Okay, we've never used this mascara. The thing with that though is that until you've mastered a strategy, you're not going to be able to get benefit from anything that you do. And that is why this channel exists. I'm still 15 when it comes to makeup. Like, I always do that. My rule with makeup is just so I look like presentable. Just to highlight that, this is my lipstick. My toddler got to it. That'll do. We're gonna head to a coffee shop now. I've got to update my website because my January enrollment for my course just finished. And so all the students are in now and they're all like getting ready to take the course, or they are taking the course. So I'm gonna go to a coffee shop. I'm gonna update all of the pages that I should have done a few days ago, like closed enrollment, change over the checkout so that if people do want to join my independent learning version of the course, they can. And I also did something really stupid, which I'll show you in a bit. Oh my gosh. I've got, for my courses, I've got automation workflows, which are like 130 days or something. And basically every few days an email triggers out. And I copied one of these workflows to make a fresh one for my January launch so that I could edit them all and be like, class starts on January 13th, and a little bit more bespoke to that cohort. And then, because I duplicated it and I hadn't changed the name, I thought, oh, I've got 2 of the same. So I deleted the workflow of my independent one, which means I now have to build it again, which isn't as bad as it sounds. But basically what I've got to do is like copy the one that I'd copied and edited and then like undo the edits. Stuff like that is why I wish I had a full-time tech manager. My tech manager is on maternity leave at the moment, and obviously like I don't employ her like as an employee, and I love that she's off having a baby, and she has given me other people that can look after me while she's off, but it's not that big of a deal. Like I'm just going to have to get on with it, and it's just things like that today that I need to get fixed. So I'm going to a coffee shop. The other thing that's on my mind for 2025 is if budgets are going to be cut and decreased. I'm hearing it a lot, and I personally don't get access to enough data to tell me in companies like yours where they may be smaller and are just one marketing manager. I honestly think leaders just kind of go with a whim. They don't necessarily like follow trends in a data sense, but I get the feeling that people are cutting budgets. Like have a look up the research yourself. But in this instance, what you're going to need to do is just focus on being a bit more organised instead of like excitable marketing. So maybe it could be a year to hunker down and get yourself in order. So like if your CRM system's in a mess, focus on spending some time with sales, focus on getting your business to take it seriously, that we need to get organised, that we need to be updating things in there. Get yourself set up really well with like your emails. There's so many things that you can do that don't require masses of budget that can bring you a return if you haven't already been doing them. And I've just got this feeling about 2025 around organisation, and that's not just because like I'm a minimalist, I love organising things, but I just think it's the right way to be. Getting yourself organised with the hope that you will get the budget that you need. Obviously we're hoping that we'll get those budgets, we're hoping that the business will let us do things. If it doesn't come to that, you're going to have to do what you can with what you've got. Getting organised also means like reducing the amount of things that you're going to do, because you can't keep on top of like loads of things. You have to be able to do 2 or 3 things really well. Maybe do a little audit on all of the different activities that you're working on, all of the different things that sales are asking you to work on, and then have a look at which ones are time wasters, which ones are bringing return. And it's not necessarily about like immediate return, because if you think about things like my TikTok, I was posting on it for over a year before I started to get sales from it. But once it was up and running and it was working, people were literally just buying from me because that trust had been built. And I think that in much bigger purchase values in B2B, you're not going to necessarily see people just like buy. But if over time you can be in front of them regularly and building the trust and credibility in your company, you will find that your sales cycle becomes simpler, becomes easier. And so when it comes to like measuring a direct impact return, you have to be mega careful about your attribution modeling, because, and I imagine that many of you are not going to this level with your measurement software, but it can be really easy for a channel to work and then to go, that's the one to invest in, cancel everything else. But if you were building trust and authority in other areas that don't look immediately like they're bringing a return, you could be cancelling something that's actually really important. Often it can look like nothing is bringing a return because we're doing too many things, and so then we're not feeling like any of it works. But a lot of the time you have to simplify. So 2025 is simplify. I don't care what anyone says, walking through a cemetery, like an ancient one, on your way to doing something like working is just so relaxing. It just like the second I walk into this place on my way to my coffee shop, I just feel immediately grounded. It's almost like a reminder that it's not forever. Like, look at these people, they were alive hundreds of years ago, to the point where what they were buried with is like, you know, still there, but like weathered. And it's just like amazing to me that it's not permanent. And so why are we worrying about marketing? Just bumped into my friend who works in a luxury group of brands, and they I'm like, oh, she's like, what are you up to? I was like, oh, I've got a course now. And she's like, oh, let me buy it. And I'm like, well, no, because you're in B2C. Like, she's like, no, we've got a B2B arm. Send me a site. So I've drafted the email and I'm like, I can't send this site until I have updated all the details on the site, because she's going to be seeing like enroll for the January cohort. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to prioritize this morning updating all of this, because obviously this is not correct. And yeah, I'm not perfect. Like, I should have updated this the day that the course enrollment closed. Also, on the topic of being organized, I'm just making sure that within the courses, like, everything is worded correctly, or I'm just checking that all of the slides still work, all the links still work, because I just feel like for 2025 we need to get back on top of things. Back to my update on what I've been up to today. I went a bit crazy and basically built a course. Well, it's a crash course. I'm gonna launch it in a few weeks. I've just launched it to my membership community, so that's everybody who's inside my course, the B2B Breakthrough Academy. It's gonna be like a 2.5 hour crash course in marketing and AI, specifically for like B2B marketers and SMEs. And the only reason I've launched this is because I've been feeling like there is so much high tech, like big case study examples of how to use AI in marketing out there, that it's just like any other area that we face in B2B. It's just overcomplicated. I feel like I have to give my spin on AI and how to use it. I'm using it a lot in my business, but not necessarily in ways that people would think. And so that brings me nicely to an opportunity in 2025. I really think that more businesses should be using webinars, masterclasses and workshops, possibly not paid like I'm doing. I mean, it is free to my existing members, which is why this could be a really good tool for like your existing customers to build and strengthen relationships, and also to attract like new people in. So they don't have to be paid like mine will be. But I think that is such a good way that you can use it to get people on board with like building that trust in you demonstrating that authenticity and that knowledge. So maybe you could build it into your marketing strategy that you're going to host maybe 4 masterclasses a year where you deep dive into something that is really going to benefit your audience. I think that's going to be something quite easy to put in place and also really beneficial to your customers. Like, you could even go a step further and set up a community. So my community is on Circle. It's really inexpensive. I think a professional plan is like $99 a month, and I'm on an even lower plan than that. And you get to host live events, you get to answer questions to your community. I'm really surprised that this tool and technique is not taken off more in B2B. And again, I think that just reflects the fact that we just don't move on and try new things. And this is such an affordable and relatively easy thing to launch. As I was walking back from the coffee shop, I was then thinking, so has B2B marketing changed in the last few years, and is it changing this year? And I think the better question is, are people changing? So when we think about the people involved, it's going to be our leaders who are the bosses of the companies, because nothing changes in their business without them changing. So is B2B marketing changing? Is really just a collective shift in how the current leaders that you work for are operating. So if you haven't seen patterns of them changing year on year, you probably won't see them change this year. And then the other people who need to change or will or won't change are customers and how they buy. So people can change their preferences in how they like to buy things. They can start to demand more online content and interaction, and they like to verify who they're going to invite into the tender process or the procurement process or invite to have a meeting with, so they can change. But really, if your entire industry isn't changing to meet that, they're still going to be having to buy in the same ways they did in the past. So whether AI exists, whether tech is advanced, doesn't really matter if both your customers and how they buy, maybe they want to change, but they're not able to if everyone in your industry is not budging, and also your leaders. So I feel like in B2B, we have more generational shifts. So when boomers, like people who are now in their 70s, were the leaders of companies, they rejected typing. They were like, are you kidding me? No, we're not sending letters, or we're not sending emails, it's really informal, all that sort of stuff. And then now you have leaders who are more like Gen X, like they're 50, and they're a little bit more like rejecting of modern doing things. Yes, they're doing things on computers, but they're not adopting things that would make life so much easier. Like they refuse to update CRM systems. They refuse to invest in things that would reduce manual time. And they don't see that it's the same as the way the people they complained about were. And so all us millennials who are more like senior managers now, we're like kicking off at them, being like, come on, change. Like things could be better. We could be more profitable. And they won't listen. This is hilarious. For the first time ever, I actually bought something on TikTok Shop. Can you believe it? I bought something on TikTok Shop because I had one of those stupid videos where the women were like, oh my gosh, I just tried on these viral jeans and oh my gosh, they're amazing. And I was like, do you know what? They actually do look amazing. I've seen like millions of these and I'm thinking like, maybe they're good. So I'm laughing to myself because I'm like, I'm changing as a buyer. The fact I've bought from TikTok is laughable to me. They actually look like they're going to be all right. I might even try them on and do like a little influencer try on. Okay, this is actually really funny because they actually fit me really well. Like they always do in the videos. Look at that stretch. Hilarious. And a great example of how people are buying differently. Like my generation, I'm 37 years old. The idea of buying from TikTok is ridiculous, but I've just tried it. It's worked kind of well. And now probably I might do it again in the future. And it just shows how shifts happen incrementally and in small changes. It's not like, bang, it's 2025, Jade buys on TikTok now. It's just people try things when things are made accessible to them where they're hanging out. Like they might get more curious and they might try different things. But if everyone in your industry is not serving buyers the way they want to buy in 2025, probably nothing will change. But I do feel like what a lovely opportunity for your company. Like if you decide to change, then maybe you'll be the guys who do meet customers' needs online, and actually that can get you ahead. So making a case with your leaders about why you should make more information that is like happening in calls and that you're not sharing with people unless they're live with one of your salespeople, that can be such a good way to get ahead in the competition. So it's not just about like ad spend and brand awareness. It can actually be about serving people's online needs a lot better than your competitors. I'm gonna make cheese on toast and I have the cutest dessert. If you don't live in the United Kingdom, gutted, because Marks and Spencer is the best place in the world. And I had like a bacon roll at 11. So when I do that, I always feel like weird about lunch, but it's 1:30 now. So I'm gonna have a bit of cheese on toast and this new little treasure. If you love M&S, get yourself the raspberry Eton mess dessert. It's amazing. Do you see that yellow stuff? That's actually white chocolate, set white chocolate. And then you have to smash the meringue on the top. And underneath is cream and like fresh raspberries. And basically, yeah, you mess it up and like smash it all together. It's absolutely heaven. Just a quick side note, if you don't use Worcester sauce on your cheese on toast, like what are you doing? I haven't toasted it yet. Oh my gosh, no. No, I was too busy filming. Oh my gosh. Toasting, and I'm gonna make a decaf. Okay, toast. It's amazing how much you lose focus when you are trying to do something on camera. Like you don't think about what you're actually doing. So I'm just gonna do a bit of cheese on toast jigsaw puzzling now. And that can actually go under the grill. Yum. Yes, 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 yes. what happiness looks like, I'm going to go and watch a little bit of my favourite YouTuber while I enjoy this. I'm just going to go and pick up my kids from school soon. So I was thinking more on this idea of change and what I think can change in B2B marketing in 2025 is how you approach things. So you can decide that you're going to change your approach. You can get more strategic. No one needs to give you permission to do that. And I do get it. Like, there are sometimes students who want to join my course who can't get the sign off from their bosses. And for that reason, and I will link the course in the show notes in case you're interested to join us. For that reason, I did recently launch Split Pay and Pay in 3. And also, if you're going to be self-funding, please reach out to me in case I can help you in any way. But the point is, even if you're not taking my course, even if you just make it your mission to really learn about the fundamentals of strategy through all my free content on this channel, through all the freebies that I've got, the templates, all the other places that are amazing that are available to help you build your skills in B2B marketing, you can decide that you're going to change. And so in a way, if we collectively as marketers decide that we're changing in 2025, that things aren't going to be the same, then in a way we are making that change. And I'm sorry that this video is not as exciting as it could have been. I would love to be one of those creators who just talks about like all the trends, AI, it's going to be amazing. But you know what? Everyone said it last year. They said the same thing. And did anything really change in your company? No. So let's stop like pretending that this year's going to be the year, because unless we change, it won't. And all we can really hope is that maybe our CEOs retire and let someone join who not necessarily is younger, but just who has a different outlook on how to get results from companies. The other thing that you can change for yourself in 2025 is how you view yourself as a marketing person and how you decide to treat yourself, because a lot of the time, most of the marketers I speak to who are battling imposter syndrome, who are feeling like they're not good enough, it's usually because they're trying to achieve the impossible. They're having these quarterly reviews with leaders, coming up with new ideas, promising to deliver on them. And then when they're not able to, or when they do all of those things and none of them bring the results they wanted, they end up then beating themselves up because they're like, why isn't this working? The only reason it's not working is lack of strategy and trying too many things and changing every quarter what you're doing and not having that focus and determination to really do what works. Once you can shift your mindset to see that you're only one person, and actually a lot of the marketing that we get inspiration from, they have like teams of 200, 300 marketers, if not more, all doing really small pieces within that puzzle. And the generalist marketer, like the head of marketing, they're going to be orchestrating and overseeing big budgets, lots of teammates, lots of agencies all working together toward the same thing. You can't do that on your own, no matter how hard you try. So your effort is better put into changing perceptions internally, getting them to see that it won't work if you try and do too many things. And that's what I would love to see change in 2025, is even if like there's 86 people now who've taken B2B Breakthrough Academy, and all of those people are making up a number towards the amount of people who are making this change and this movement of standing up to leaders to benefit the leaders. It's not be better for us marketers and like make things harder for the leaders, is to benefit the companies that they're in. And CEOs are valuing this process of the course that I run. If you can get them to see that what they're doing is not working and why is that? It's because of the marketing task wheel. It's because just doing millions of different things without any direction is not going to get you anywhere. And if you can help them see it, they're going to stop wasting their money. They're going to stop thinking this year will be different. They're going to stop thinking, oh, if you could only just work harder. They're going to start realizing that, oh, right, we need to hunker down, get clarity, do just a few things, and really just go from there. And do check out the link in my show notes to explore the course in more detail, and also to get your hands on my free 6 stages freebie, which will help you to start the process of creating a marketing strategy, even if you never end up joining my course. Just to demonstrate the transition from working Jade to mum Jade. This is my one backpack, and at the end of the day, I take my laptop out, charger, and mouse. I fill the backpack with the snacks that my kids are all gonna want when I pick them up from school in a minute. And then yeah, this just becomes Mum Jade. This is like my transition. Oh, the snacks are really limited today. And this is why I get so stressed out and why I want to talk about balance with what you change for 2025. It's like you can't be everything. And today, you know, I really struggle to like move from work to the kids to like what we're having for dinner tonight. And even though I have prepped like what we're going to have for dinner, again, I didn't think about snacks, and then I'm going to get there and they'll be like, I'm really hungry. And then I'm like thrown into mum world. And I think it really means that you have to be organized. You have to prioritize like what matters in the day and not get too sort of pulled pillar to post on that marketing task wheel. That's definitely what I'm feeling right now, is just like, what am I doing? What's my plan? Like, how is this working? And it can just feel really stressful. I currently never know what I'm going to be driving today because my car went back. I had it on like a lease hire and it went back, and didn't seem any point in getting a new car because my husband has a van for his bikes. He's really into extreme sports and bikes and stuff, so the van is really good for his bikes. And then he also has like an almost 20-year-old massive Land Rover. The Land Rover is even bigger than this van, and depending on what car he takes for the day, I get the other car, and I keep getting them cleaned. And then he goes and does his extreme sports, like going over a mountain in the truck or whatever, and then they're just like covered in mud again. And then he gets mad with me when I clean them because he likes the muddy look on the old Land Rover, and I'm just getting covered in mud. And I'm just trying to see how long I can go without getting my own car, because I don't want 3 cars. It just seems like we're a minimalist family. Probably would even just have one if we could agree on it. So we'll have to see how long this lasts. I'm just hanging out in the play court now, waiting for our kids. Say hi!
Who's that?
Just say hi. Hi. These are my friends who think it's like a big deal to be on my channel, but say something. They won't, it's fine. There you go.
Have you got any food in the car?
I've also got oranges and apples and little pineapple rice cake.
I want an apple.
Okay, let's go and get Valley, and then we can get the apple out. Should we go? Get your sister? I would love you to subscribe to this channel. If you've enjoyed this type of update, let me know in comments. It's not my usual style. I have seen a lot of my favourite creators doing more sort of day in the life content, and it works quite well for me because I can just pick up my camera as and when a thought comes to me in the day, and it's really like low key and really nice. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video if you like it,